George, I know I'm listening to you. I hear what you're telling me. Yes, yes, yes. I've heard it all before. Let me remind you again, there's room in the tree for more than one of you, okay? Uh, George, let me call you back. Are you guys, are you guys really out there? Man, am I seeing things? I think you're real. Wow, man, it is great to see someone finally. Ranger G here. Man, I've been out in the wilderness for so long and I haven't seen anyone else. Wow, I'm really glad to see you guys. What are you asking me? Why am I talking to a banana? Well, you see, you guys just don't understand. This is not like where you're from, okay? Your cell phone's not going to work here, people. If you want to get anything done, you've got to learn how to survive in the wilderness. And one of the key things that you need to know, if you want to communicate with anybody, anywhere, out here in the wilderness, then you have got to know how to talk to monkeys. I mean, these guys are swinging around from tree to tree. They're watching everything going on. They are like the Facebook of the jungle, okay? So if you want to talk to monkeys, you don't need an iPhone. You don't need an Android. You need a banana phone. I know it looks good. You just think you might want to eat it. But this will let you talk to the monkeys. Just like I was talking to my buddy George. He's the most curious monkey I've ever met. And he knows everyone, and he knows everything that's going on. Some of you guys may have never been in the wilderness before, but let me just tell you, you are in for an epic adventure. There are things out here that you would not believe. I know what you city kids are thinking. You don't think there's anything exciting about the wilderness. You just must be bored out of your mind, Ranger G. You must be going crazy. That's why you're talking to the banana. But you know what I say? Nay, nay. This is the most exciting place you'll ever see. There are so many adventures out here in the wilderness. I mean, have you ever been stuck in between a family of baboons and their little babies? I don't think so. But guess what? I have. And let me just say, when the poop starts flying, and it's coming, that is an epic adventure. I've never had to dodge so fast in my whole life. I mean, it's like dodgeball to a whole nother level. It's epic. I'm sure that as you guys spend more time out here in the wilderness, you'll go through plenty of epic adventures too. And I'll be here all along to help guide you and take you in the right direction. It reminds me of some stories that I've read in this book. It's called the Holy Bible. This book is full of so many epic adventures. Monkeys. Yes, George. I told you I would call you back, George. I'm talking to some new friends. What? Oh, you're making pizza? Oh, for everyone? With the termites and the ants? Oh, yes, I will be there. Thanks, George. Guys, let's head back to camp. Man, don't forget your toothpick. Those termites, they can get stuck right here in your teeth. Man, let's go back to camp. We can have some pizza and we can hear about an epic adventure straight from the Bible. Come on, guys. Camp. Camp is this way.
Are you ready for an adventure? This month, we will follow the epic stories of the Old Testament in the Bible. Stories of God's people in the wilderness. where they wandered for 40 years. For 40 years, just imagine they walked around with all of their things, with no home to go to, as they looked for the land that God had promised them. If you had to wander for a very long time, let's say 40 years, what would you bring with you? The people of God missed having a lot of things, but what they missed the most was the feeling that God was with them. But today, we are learning about how I can spend time with God anywhere. When the Israelites were wandering in the wilderness, they sometimes forgot that God was with them. So God gave a man named Moses some special instructions. God gave Moses instructions to have the people gather fine materials to build God a home that would travel with them. Of course, God was with them everywhere they went anyway, but this special home would help God's people remember that He was with them. This special home was called a tent of meeting or a tabernacle. And in Exodus chapter 35, you can find detailed instructions that God gave Moses for how to build it. God's people built the tabernacle or special home for God exactly as they were told, and they put it up every time they stopped on their journey in the wilderness to remind them that God traveled with them. Where is a place that we worship God? We worship God at church. Let's pretend like this is church and this is us. And when we go to church, we know that God will be there. God definitely meets us at church. But do we need a special place to spend time with God? Let's take a look and see. God is at church, but God is everywhere. God will meet us anywhere, and we can spend time with God anywhere. We can spend time with God at home. We can spend time with God in the car or outside or at our grandparents' house or a friend's house. We can spend time with God anywhere. James 4:8 says, "Come near to God and He will come near to you." What does this verse tell us about worship? Do we always need to be in a special place to spend time with God? The Israelites needed a special reminder that God was with them everywhere they traveled. But you and I can know that God is always with us. He is everywhere. And because of that, we can spend time with Him anywhere we go. How important is it for us to spend time with God? It is important for us to pray, to read our Bible, to listen to God every day. And we can do that not just at church, but anywhere we are. Let's take a minute and pray and ask God to help us remember to spend time with Him anywhere we are. God, we love you. We thank you that you're everywhere with us, that we can never get too far away from you. I pray that you would help us to remember every day to take time to spend time with you, to pray, to read your word, and that we can do that wherever we are. We thank you for the reminder, Jesus.